The other thing is when you're going to go list a property is getting out in front of a lot of these inspection issues before they happen. You know, if I see a big water spot on the ceiling, you need to do something about that before we even list the property. Because first of all, that's going to turn buyers away because they're going to be like, oh, there's some kind of leak up there. When it might have just been like your AC pan overflowed, and it's not the biggest thing because you had it fixed, but it's the perception that a buyer has. And then they come in and do inspections and they're like, oh my gosh, all the things. And you could have gotten in front of a lot of it. You know, I don't always personally hire an inspector or anything to go in before we list, but pre-listing inspections, like that's a huge thing that I think is a good idea for sellers, so they know, okay, we're pricing at this. This is what issues you have going on. You can disclose them, let people know you're priced according to those issues. And, you know, you already have a real clear view of how things are going to go, as opposed to sellers that are like, I want top dollar for my house. Then you come through and need a new roof and a new AC, and the seller's like, I'm not doing all that because it's thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, you know? And so, you know, if you can get out in front of those things, it's a lot cheaper than trying to catch up to them on the tail end.
Well, let me just add to that, because I had this conversation with a seller literally last week, okay? So you said a stain on the ceiling, right? So as a listing agent, we go in, we look at the house, we see the stain on the ceiling, and I tell my sellers, you know, when I'm showing this house to potential buyers and they've seen that stain on the ceiling, you know, best case scenario, maybe the AC pan overflowed, maybe there was a little leak, you know, no big deal. That's an easy fix. The drain line is probably clogged, you know, blow it out. Or the roof is leaking, the roof is falling apart, the decking is a mess, whatever. What do you think the buyer is going to think?
The worst.
The worst case scenario. They're not going to be like, oh, you know, oh no, don't worry, it's just no. They're going to be like, the house is falling apart, the roof is caving in, but so
let's get out. We're about to get crushed.
Let's not even let's not even worry about it and just be like, let's fix it. Okay, we're going to fix it before. So now it's not even a thing. It's not part of the buyer's reality. It never, you know, it isn't even there. They don't have to discuss it. So it's so important, and sellers need to realize that like their buyers will always go to the worst case scenario. And that's going to reflect in their offer. They're going to want $10,000 off of the price because your AC, which might cost $150 to blow out that line, they're going to want 10 grand off the price because they think it's from the roof. And then you're going to argue
with... In their initial negotiations, they're going to want $10,000 off, and then they're going to want you to fix it.
And then they're going to want you to fix it after. And so a $150 fix just cost you 10 grand because you just... So yeah, that it's important.